So the vision was really simple: new leaf, new life, new enthusiasm. That was the brand back then. And it was incredibly successful. I reckon about 18 months we had about 100 people.
Welcome to the New Leaf podcast, and I'm back again as a special host. It's Sam Oakes from the Financial Planner Life. And I'm sat down with father and son duo. That's Mark and Dan. They run New Leaf. And we're going to talk about what it's like to run a real family business.
And now 365 advisors, 184 ARs, 28 million turnover, no borrowing, no gearing, and fantastic business that Dan is taking on to the next level. But you know what? There's one thing that people are going to forget, and that's that the human being is the best invention in the world.
Right.
And you know what's going to happen? People are going to stop valuing the human being, and we are not. Our USP is going to be human beings, not AI.
You're going to love this episode if you're seriously considering a move into self-employment within financial planning. And I'm back on the New Leaf podcast as the host. Thank you for having me, guys. It would have been a bit difficult, wouldn't it, to introduce you both without a guest host, I think. So up I step to the marks. Let's find out a little bit about the people behind the business. It's father and son duo. It's Mark and Dan. We've got the founder, Mark, and we've got the new CEO, Dan. Now, Mark, the vision of New Leaf, when you started this business, what was it? And Dan, I want you to come in and say, is it the same vision, or together are you changing it?
Wow, that's a really good question. So the vision was really simple: new leaf, new life, new enthusiasm. That was the brand back then. So it was directed at new people into the industry, and we got loads and loads of them. So we started with CMAP training. We started bringing them in the door. We sold people to other networks. They were disappointed with the other networks. They asked us could we take them on? So we started a DA business. We first started under a network, actually, called PMP, which is Bob Scott. He's speaking at our conference, actually, in October. And he was incredible to me because he gave me the opportunity to start the business in mortgages, which I'd never been involved in my life, 25 years ago. I was a protection specialist, basically, all my life. And Bob said, yeah, have an AR. And we started the AR, and it was incredibly successful. We had 100 people pretty much within, I reckon about 18 months, we had about 100 people. They all came through CMAP training, and it was just fantastic. Being with a network was easy because they take away all the noise. And quite frankly, we would have stayed with them forever. But they sold the business without telling us. So we found ourselves with a new principal, who was Manchester Building Society. They phoned me and said, you're the top business in PMP. Will you come and see us? And I said, well, who are you? And before I knew it, we were with Manchester Building Society. So I said to him respectfully, I was here because of Bob. I'm going to be leaving and we're going to go DA. And at that time, the FSA were fantastic to us. They gave us permissions. I think it was about a month. It was incredible. We started as a DA business. The advisor started with us, branded as New Leaf Financial Services Limited at the time. And then bit by bit it changes, like business always changes organically. Terry Adolfo, one of our first ARs, he was the one to say to me, Mark, I want to be an AR. And I said, what's an AR? He said, I think it's an appointed rep. I said, oh, yeah, okay, I'm an appointed rep, aren't I? Yeah, okay. I was an appointed rep with PMP. Yeah, I think we can do that. Let's try it. So we made him an appointed rep. He had his own brand under one roof. He's still with New Leaf to this day. And then others said, I want my own brand. I want my own brand. And then we had 5. And suddenly regulators said, oh, you're not a DA anymore, you're a network, because 5 or more ARs means you're a network. I said, okay, what does that mean? They said, well, you better bloody find out pretty quickly. Okay, we need different PI, we need different regulation. So we just learned it, changed it, and developed it. And now 365 advisors, 184 ARs, 28 million turnover, no borrowing, no gearing, and fantastic business that Dan is taking on to the next level, I'm glad to say. So I can look at art galleries a bit more and spend a bit more time just chilling out, that's what I want to do. But no, thoroughly enjoying the new challenge of recruiting people, developing the business and helping Dan build the business to the next level.
I love it. Mark, thanks so much for that background and the vision that you had and just how it kind of took shape. I can imagine it just happened, right? Sometimes these things just happen. You have a vision in your head. Was it exactly how you planned it, or did it just happen?
There was no plan.
Yeah.
No, there's not really a plan, really. We try plans, don't we? We say we're going to do something. We put it down on paper, but business plans for me are basically one-pagers, and they're 1 year at a time. And I think that's enough for anyone, 1 year at a time. And even now, I think it's probably 6 months at a time. If you try and forecast 10 years, it's just a joke. It's ridiculous. You can't. You can try and forecast a year and then see where it takes you. But the life is changing so dramatically. The quality of the people we've got now is so different. You know, we've had some really good podcasts today and over the last couple of months, and you can see the quality is incredible. My joy is I get to speak to all of those people and find out what they're about and see if they're right for us and see if we're right for them. It's a two-way thing. We're not just recruiting. We're in a joint venture with people, and that satisfies the future more readily.
Love it. Dan, stepping into a CEO position, I've got to ask you, are you the youngest CEO of a network in the UK?
Possibly, yeah. It's not fact checked, but we
say it
anyway. But yeah, I imagine I probably would be. But yeah, it's been amazing because I started in the business in 2010, right? So quite a while ago now. Officially, I was working like when I was a kid and stuff. I was working in the background, doing bits and pieces here and there.
Really?
Yeah, after school, I used to come in, clean for an hour and then take calls. So we never had a PA system back then, it was like anyone called after 5, I'd just pick the phone up and be like, hey, and they go, can I speak to a broker? And I'm like, what the hell's a broker? Anyway, take a note. And then just hoover. No, but seriously, after it was the World Cup. I went to the World Cup in South Africa with my mates, and it was the end of university. And I remember Dad said to me, when you're back from uni, when you're back from the World Cup, don't feel pressured. You can do what you want. I know I'd love you to work with New Leaf, but you don't need to do that. And I remember thinking at the time, okay, cool. I'm gonna have a look out there, see what's going on. And the truth is, at the time, a lot of my friends were getting jobs in the city. They were going to insurance companies, and they wanted that city life. And it just looked very superficial to me. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with those roles. They earn a lot of money, good money, and I'm sure those guys all had a good time. But at the end of the day, it's not something you can do for longer than 5 to 10 years and you burn out. You can really see that now. Now I can see that now, looking back at people. And I just thought, I just don't like that. Life doesn't appeal to me. And we had this amazing business back then. I mean, this is given that we'd just gone through the crash, the business then had been in a precarious state, but Dad had, maneuvered it through. And in 2010, I'm looking at this business, I think this is a real opportunity, to do something completely different and to have lots of responsibility as well. And I said to Dad, I was like, I think I want to do this. Actually, I want to be part of the business. Is that okay? Can I do it properly? And he said, yeah, get involved. So, and literally from day one, Mark's a really good, even though he's my dad, but if you work for Mark, he's a really good leader, manager. But in terms of you learning from him, he's the sort of guy that throws you in the deep end.
True.
Sink or swim. It's honestly, you make it or you don't. And there was no difference for me just because I was a son. The first thing he did, I'm 21, didn't really have any idea about how the systems work or how advice works, really. Just, I'm in the middle of it all. He goes, right, you're, Dan, you got CMAP, haven't you? Yeah, I got CMAP. Okay, so you're going to go and supervise advisor. The supervisor can't do it. So you got to go to Godstone, drive down there and supervise his meeting. And I was like, what the hell?
He was trained, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have to say this to the regulator.
I was trained, yeah, but I was thinking at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, but I was trained, but I was never I didn't.
This is first time.
Didn't shadow anybody, So I'm going, I'm driving down to this meeting, I'm bricking it. Honestly, I was bricking it. I'm thinking, oh man, why am I so nervous about this? And you get there, and you're the advisor. I remember he was really nervous, and then I realised, if it's a flip switch, I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just sitting in the corner here. I'm not the one giving the advice. I've got a checklist. I can do this. And I remember doing it, went for the meeting, went well, the guy did quite well, and he had feedback. He took it from me. That was a real thing for me at the time. I was young, but he actually responded to the feedback. And I thought, wow, okay, I can do this. This is all right. And the next stage it was, okay, Dan, trainer can't be in, and I'm about a couple of years old now. You got to run the training course for all the new advisors this week. Again, I've not been trained on that. I don't know how to do that, really.
Good way to learn.
And just okay, just do it. Let's just crack on. So then I was training, and I'd say that really made a difference. And then the worst thing I was really nervous about was when we used to do CMAP training, properly to the public.
University of Westminster.
University of Westminster, every day of the week, more or less, and on the weekends as well. And we had a trainer for it at the time, and he couldn't do it for some reason. And you were the reserve trainer back then, and you couldn't do it. And you're like, Dan, you got to go and train in the University of Westminster lecture hall.
40 people.
40
sitting in an
people.
auditorium.
And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. Okay, so I'm going on the Saturday morning, I'm bricking it again. But it was like, got here and you look at everyone, they're all new. They don't. I was like, I know more than these people here. I got their knowledge. I know it inside out. I can do this. And that really helped me learn and grow. And really for those first 10 years was really formative that I was able to do, compliance supervision, training, got quite good at these sort of things. And fast forwarding that to now, now I'm CEO of the business. I know every area of the business so well, and I know where the gaps were, where we could improve. Like you said, there's lots of things we plan and we do, and it doesn't work out. But actually, what I found is when you start on a journey with like a project, something else comes from it that was not expected, and it's even better than the idea you had. And that's what we do. We're just constantly innovating, constantly trying to improve our service to advisors. And Mark used to always say, oh, we're like a corner shop network. And I hated that saying.
I still say it.
He does still. It's really annoying.
Tesco's.
We're not.
Waitrose.
The truth is we're really not a corner shop anymore at all. We are, I would liken it more to an F1 team. We're Ferrari.
Marks and Spencer's.
Maybe Ferrari is not a good example at the moment with their position in the championship. But we are striving for like this marginal difference, these gains. And you think about F1 teams, and how they operate, and they spend millions and millions to literally make a 0.01 second difference to a lap time. Now, most people are like, oh, what's the point of doing that? Well, that's the difference between winning and losing. So I want us to do the same thing, be like an F1 team as a network. And now, you know what happens when you act that way? You don't just attract amazing people, you also raise the quality of the entire group, because even the people then, the advisors that are maybe doing good income, they up their game. They increase their revenue. They do better with clients. And I found that's been a big change. Is actually like, I think for a long time we probably were a bit vain about numbers of advisors we had, but I've learned it's not about numbers at all. It doesn't matter how many you have. It's are they actually earning you profit? Is there margin in it for you? And the quality of our advisors is that we probably earn more as a group than the majority of big networks out there.
We've definitely moved from the Lidl to Asda, then we became Waitrose, and now we're probably Marks and Spencer's-ish, and no, Fortnum and Masons.
Oh, like
yeah, that's it.
We're the Fortnum and Mason of networks. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Very
Going
special.
in the supermarket world, you're probably going to get to the point where you're going to be like the Amazon shop, where people just walk in and just take what they want off the shelf and walk back out. So you're trying to get so streamlined with your technology, which is a great sort of segue now, actually. Technology, how important is that to you as a business? And is it something
huge.
you're implementing now to be able to support those many members that you actually have?
It's huge. I mean, obviously, there's different systems you can buy in and so on. We do work with the best leading tech providers out there, but we've also built our own proprietary tech. We just launched our AI product, which is incredible. I mean, it reads the file, it can produce a report from scratch, an original report for every client. I mean, there's nothing
executive summary.
Nothing else like it in the market. So bespoke to us, but that's just going to make our admin team, so much super efficient. But I think that's something that you built, like when you away from the tech side, is actually when we thought about the wealth planning and being different, because you see, you don't want to be the same as every other network. You built that power planning team. Internal power planning team, which is really unique to our network, and I think that's important to talk about that.
Yeah, I used to be a police officer, so in Essex Police versus Met Police, it was quite interesting. I was an Essex police officer. You would arrest somebody, you would take them into the custody suite, you would have to interview them, you would have to charge them, you'd have to go to court, and you'd have to give evidence. You're off the road half the time. Met Police, if you're a good copper, go and you lift someone, you take them into custody suite, and the poor coppers look after them. So the good ones are on the streets. So I thought, well, when it came to financial services, again, because I left financial services, went into the police when I sort of retired when I was young and had a really good time. Came back into financial services. I thought we could apply this to financial services. So our advisors, our financial advisors, absolutely do this. They go and see clients. They bring those clients into the centre. We build the advice process around them, and then they go and close them. And it's absolutely unique in the industry. And we are independent, so that makes it even more unique. So it's a very powerful model. And it's very exciting for the future because we can grow that. We've got 108 IFAs at the moment. And we don't want 1,000. That's not what we want. But who knows what you want, really? Things happen. The reality for us is we are the network that knows your name. Dan and I and his executive team. We all know everybody's name, and pretty much we know their families and their background. I spoke to you about this on a podcast recently. But the reality of life is people have got to diversify. They've got to change. And I think the pure mortgage broker will be gone. The vanilla mortgage broker is under threat. Therefore, you need to join a network that allows you to diversify your opportunities. As simple as that. If you don't do that, you're under great threat from actually extinction. If you're in the specialist world of mortgages, specialist commercial world, I think it'd be fine. Developing that side. But you also have to have regulated alongside that. You also have to do protection. You also have to look at the risks in families and businesses and loan protection, shareholder, key person. I think all of that needs to be sold. But if you're going to sit there and say, do you know what, I've got a long-term future as a pure first-time buyer, vanilla mortgage broker, I think you need to think about it seriously and then look at New Leaf as an option.
I love it. You've also got that ecosystem where you are training and developing mortgage advisors. You're not just telling them they should do it, you're actually giving them examples. I mean, the podcast itself is a prime example. We're interviewing people and their stories of how they've transitioned from mortgage over to IFA and the immediate success that they're having. Samantha Chalice is a great example of that story, and there's many, many more on this podcast for people to listen to. So definitely advise people to dig deep into that catalogue. Really, really love that. And the training development for you is massively important, right?
Totally.
So just tell us a little bit about that. Because lots of time when people join networks, training and development doesn't tend to be there. It's usually about, we'll give you admin, we'll give you power planner support, we'll do your compliance. But no one really talks about the soft touch, if you like, that actually can take a business from zero to hero. So tell us a little bit about the training that you deliver and how you do it.
I'll let Dan go.
I mean, with obviously we do all permission areas, so it's very varied. But in the wealth side in particular, you've got to be a bit more deeper than just sort of like a compliance training focus. So we have an amazing lead head trainer for the academy of the investment side, a guy called Kerry Weaver. Used to be a former therapist. You know, he got that sort of way where he can really analyse and coach people. He's a real mentor. And in that first year, you know, you need, if someone's, even if you're a successful mortgage broker and you're becoming an IFA, that's such a big change and it's difficult. It's not easy for anybody. You do need that sort of mental, psychological support as well. So that's a real big plus for people joining us. It's not just it's amazing how in power planning the admin's taken care of. That's amazing. That's great. That's a big USP and a big reason people join. But people do undervalue the fact that that mental, psychological support, the coaching on cases, that's where Kerry's just makes such a big difference to the training that we offer.
We spoke today about employee value proposition. I coined the term member value proposition. And we also spoke about a family culture, which gets thrown around a lot in businesses to try and draw people in to make them feel safe and secure. You're obviously family leading the business, but can you articulate to me why you really do lean into a family-based culture within the business and how that actually helps those members?
I think that comes back to something I told you about before, which is I set an objective for my son to come into the business. I mentor a written objective. When others were setting objectives to buy Ferraris, I set an objective for my son to come into the business when he was young. He was literally 2 years old and I was on a course. So when that happens, you hope it will happen. You hope desperately that your son will come alongside you. And my daughter's also my PA, it's brilliant. But then they surprise you with being better than you would anticipate, better than you in so many areas. He's so intelligent, so quick, so fast. I didn't want to do these podcasts. I mean, what the hell? What's this? It's not work, is it? He said to me, we should do it. We're going to invest. We're going to do it. I said, okay, whatever you want to do is fine by me. I turned up and I thought, wow, what's this nonsense? And now I can see the traction and the incredible influence that you get from speaking from your heart to an audience that are there on the other side of this lens. I would never have invested in this. I promise you. I think I told you when we first spoke, I wouldn't do it. But Dan did it. He stepped out and he's done it. And I can absolutely see the reward. And that's where I think when you work with someone like Dan, who is quite visionary in that sense, away from just graft, and sometimes I value people who work really hard, and that's not right. And I get that, but I just can't help it. I always value how many hours you put in, what are you doing, but actually it's not right. When I look back at my times at AIG and I was being mentored by Peter Mansell, he used to really say, why are you working beyond 9 to 5? You should get everything done in efficient time. I think Dan has mastered that. And he's bringing his team on. They're all in their 30s. You know, Sam Wallace, the MD, Josh Brand and Brad Kenworth, the compliance director, who's my nephew, Dan's cousin. I think Dan's leading that team to a different level of thinking. It's not just about graft. It's about application, purpose, ideology, getting excited about new things, technology. But you know what? There's one thing that people are going to forget, and that's that the human being is the best invention in the world.
Right.
The human being. Look at the nails on your finger. How God gave you a nail to protect your finger. Look at your eyes, the complexity of your eyes. People go, AI is so amazing. And God created us, this most incredible invention millions of years ago. And yet we are fating AI as the best thing ever. We are the best thing ever. Well, the human being that was created by God Almighty is the best invention ever. And you know what's going to happen? People are going to stop valuing the human being, and we are not. Our USP is going to be human beings, not AI.
Yeah, I'm really pleased that you see the value in your members sharing their stories about what it's like to be within your business. It's a confidence that you have in your members to be able to raise them up and to talk about it. It becomes social proof. The most amazing talent attraction you will ever have for your business are the people that work within your business. Yeah. Not some fuzzy little, AI created image on LinkedIn or, a recruiter going out there telling them whatever they want to say. It's the real stories from those people that are going to resonate with the audience that are watching it. And they want to see 1, 2, 3, 4 different stages, different places within the career. So I applaud you for doing it, because the companies that I've done it with are reaping the rewards. And you mentioned about AI. People aren't going to believe reviews and blog articles anymore. They're going to be looking for the human connection. Yeah. So you're a step ahead, and I think it's brave, but it's also, Dan, I love it because you're a visionary and you're pushing forward into the new world.
Definitely.
And there's the trust there as well, which obviously for your members is a really, really good thing to see, because not only that, it's attracting indirectly talent for those AR practices that are in your members' team. And there is so much that can be done to then teach them what you're learning so they can attract talent as well.
Can I just say something to parents, though, who have got kids in the business, whether it be a mum or a dad or whatever? They've got to step back. At some point, they've got to step back and trust their boy or girl to run the business. And that's the most difficult part, actually letting go. So I've just come off as an SMF1. We would join SMF1. I think it should be off by now. And that was the bit that was the end of it. It's the handover. To me, it gives him a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility. I'm always there for him. I'm the director of the business, of course. But message to mums and dads who run family businesses: please let your kids launch them. Let them grow and then become better than you could ever perceive yourself. It's so important, but it's I understand why they don't. And I've seen it so many times where it all crumbles because the son or the daughter gets fed up with not being given the opportunity to fly.
Yeah, let people fail, I think, is the most important message. Fail forward and you'll learn, don't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Look, the industry's changing massively. Let's just move on to a final question. We just want to know a little bit about the future. So the next 3 to 5 years, what does it look like for New Leaf? Where are you going?
Yeah, well, we're looking at, I said earlier, there's a lot of projects, a lot of ideas we've got at the moment, and we're working on those. So we want to really improve, anything we can for our members. And I talk to a lot of the advisors. So part of my role, CEO now, is to go and talk to all the AR principals every year, like meet them properly. And I tell them, I sort of joke with them and say, like, I want you to go 2-footed on me. I want you to tell me exactly what.
2-footed?
Yeah, like take me out.
Tackle.
Yeah, okay. I want to know the frustrations. I want to know what's the pain point with us, like, and yourselves. Like, what can we do to be better? Or even, like, a nice way to put it is, like, what can I do to add more value as a network? And it's been amazing. Like, it's been really positive. Like, honestly, overwhelmingly positive. All the meetings we've been doing, and we got so many ideas from these meetings that just wouldn't have happened. And you think, wow, that's so cool. So, like, for example, we're launching, very more short term. We're launching a new training app. We realised people keep telling me, it's really hard to listen to the recordings of webinars. So you have to go through our intranet. There's a VPN. It's blocks us getting on. I can't listen to it in the car. I've got to be on my laptop. We're like, that is annoying, isn't it? So how can we do better there? So we've invested. We're not scared to spend money when we think it's worth it. We've built an app. It's launching now. It'll be out now. All of our training then is accessible, super easy. We're building a community off the back of that. the community forums we have at the moment are spread over different Facebook groups and things. That's going to be formalized, more professional. So that's one innovation. And then moving forward, we want to look at ways as well to be a bit different as a network, not just supply compliance support, but can we lead generate as well for our members? And that's something we're brewing, is different ways we can do that. And there's lots of different ideas around how does a network lead generate?
We'll also be the person you can talk to still. We'll also be the first that, where there's a problem, we'll come and support you. We first at your hospital bed, when that happens, first to help your family when those things are happening. It's so important that the person is first. We're here to serve our people, and that's the fact, isn't it?
Yeah.
So along with all the brave new ideas, the old-fashioned way of people first, arms around the shoulder, that's also never going to go.
I love it. Look, my brand values here at the Financial Planner Life are quite simple. Be a storyteller, innovator, connector. You're ticking literally those 3 boxes that I think is massively important for a business to grow and to stand out, especially within the future of financial planning. Your podcast is called the New Leaf Podcast, turning over a new leaf within financial planning. So I'm going to put the question on you. What's the new leaf that you're turning over in financial planning?
Wow, that's a good one. Do you want to go first?
It's really good. I've been asking this to everybody, and now I've got to answer it. It's actually really hard, isn't it, to think on the spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, we're in this transition phase this year. The new leaf for me is really stepping up to the grade, because up to this point I've been a director, whatever, but always fell back on Dad. He's always been there. He's always been the backbone of the business, and he still will be in that sense. But he's taken the flak. He's taken the flak, right? He puts it on his shoulders. He's protected us. And this year, I've realised it's not just happened when I became CEO immediately. It's over the course of being the CEO. It's taken me a while to learn what that means actually. And I think for me, I know now that I've got to step up. There's no way around it. I've got to take responsibility away from Dad. I can't just let him then be the same person. That's not the point of this. It's not just a PR thing. Oh, succession's happening. That's great. Actually, it's for real. He wants to relax a bit more. He wants to enjoy himself. He's done so well with this business, the way he's built it, over the years, that we need to be picking up some of the annoying things that happen. You got to deal with. And really then for me, that new leaf is then allowing Dad to actually leverage what he's so good at, which is business development and strategy.
Yeah, that's really kind of you. I mean, as a corner shop, my new
Lovely
leaf
corner
is
shop.
to make sure we've not got shopping baskets anymore, that we've got trolleys to push around. But in all sincerity, I really appreciate what you said, because I've been waiting for that. And I do need to be free from the rigour, and that Dan can take that rigour on, because it's a lot of energy zapping stuff. It's a lot of noise. There's a lot of stuff he won't enjoy. He's got to run that team. He's got to run a whole office. He's got 52 staff to run, let alone anything else. He's got great people around him. But being free from that for myself would be wonderful. It means I can really focus on recruiting people, helping all these people that have been on podcasts with us to develop their businesses. And that's joyful for me, just to focus on that stuff and not have to worry about all the compliance and all those issues. So thank you for that. I love you dearly, and I know the future's going to be amazing.
I'm super enjoying it. It's amazing. What a great business for anyone to be part of. And, we're here to help, aren't we?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, it comes across absolutely clearly on the New Leaf podcast. In the short space of time that I've been working with you, it feels like I really have gotten to know your business. So not only are your members going to be learning more about each other in the business and what's working and what's not, but you are opening the doors to everybody else that are considering setting up their own business and de-risking. And I think that's such a valuable thing, those entrepreneurial individuals who want to enter the financial planning space or want to step away from employed into self-employed. And even the ones that are considering the DA, do I really want to go that way?
Yeah,
Maybe a network's my answer.
I told him I loved him. Where was yours?
Oh yeah, I love him too. But as long as he don't kill us a corner shop anymore. Yeah.
There's so much love in the room. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thanks very much.